Something's not right with this.
Well, something's right with us because we're live. But that's okay.
Perfect, perfect. Awesome. That works for me then.
Yes, it does. And now here's what I want to see. I want to see if it's going live on this YouTube channel.
Perfect. Awesome. That works for me then.
Who's that? Is that us? Now here's what I want to see. I want to see if it's going live on this YouTube channel.
Awesome. That works for me then.
Where did that go?
What is that?
I don't know. It's gone though, right?
All right, so I'm going to click out of this, maybe because
I think it was me.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think it was me, and it says that we have viewers. So those viewers are either us or other people are on. So if other people are on, then welcome. I welcome. Wait till you guys hear what we have to talk about tonight, because clearly Mel and I took a day off yesterday.
Yeah.
And it shows. All right. I feel like we are having people pop on.
Awesome.
I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. So let's just test something. Let's get a few people on, because I did announce it, and I want to get anybody who is coming on super pumped up that what we are about to talk about is something necessary in life. So let's see if I go here, if I get an echo again. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Okay. Boom, it's live.
Where do you see who's viewing?
I'm looking at, well, maybe, I wonder if you can't see it on the bottom. You can't see who's viewing or chatting or any of that?
No. But it might be because, you started it. Is that why? Or
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe, but we are live, so we're ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Hey, likewise.
We're always ready to go, and that's, you know what? I feel like that's why our topic for tonight is what it is, because we're always ready to go.
Absolutely.
So let's just, because we have people that are on. This is cool.
Good stuff.
I like it. So let's just say hello again. You guys know I'm Hera Z. We got my millionaire over there. That's Mel Grant. And I feel like this is probably our third, maybe?
Yep.
Our third little fire talk, where Mel and I met last year, almost a year ago. And we decided as we connected that we had some fire to share with the world. And
fire. You got to say that. Fire up!
And with the recent events of what we're doing with our organization, our team, and just kind of finding our voice and sharing the things that we share as coaches, I think it was only right to say, let's just share it with the entire world. So here we are for our Fire Talks. We've been doing this every week just because we feel like it. And yesterday, usually Mel and I touch base on Sundays, like right before church. I feel like we connect somehow, right? A text message or something was going on. And I did not feel you yesterday. Like yesterday morning, I didn't feel you. And I'm like, I always feel Mel on Sundays.
Sundays, yeah.
Where's Mel?
It's like, where's Waldo, right?
Where's Waldo? And I texted you, and let's talk about this text. I feel like now all of our Fire Talks are always going to start with a text. Yeah. So let's go back to this text message and what was said. What do you remember? How do you recall it going down?
Well, it was pretty funny because, I've said this several times. We really do work off the same vibrational energy. And so, anytime you feel 100% connected, I feel 100% connected. Anytime you feel 100% disconnected, it's like, all right, something's going on, what's happening, and we'll reach out to each other. And I think we both just kind of had this feeling throughout the week that, as you mentioned, we've got a lot of different things in our hands in the fire in a lot of different areas. And I think that, you had reached out to me and you said, look, I took today off, all caps, completely off, silence, to just be with myself, just kind of have nothing to do, nowhere to go, just take in life and be very present. And it was hilarious because, I was texting back like, I'm feeling the exact same way. Like, no wonder you're not connected because I'm so just disconnected. Like, oh my goodness. So that was pretty funny, and that's how we started, and that's I think how our topics always come about. You know, it's just kind of what are we going through, what are we feeling like, what has happened during the week or over the weekend, and so that's kind of what brought us to having this discussion. You know, we said, boom, that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. You know, it never comes planned. It's always just what's going on and what's relevant and what's happening and how we can share that and bring some value to you guys.
Yeah, I think that is exactly, literally how it occurs. You keep using this word connected, and I think that was our main purpose for yesterday, is to continue to stay connected, and what our theme is, right? And the value that we do want to share is so many people are doing, and we're on, and we're here, and we're there, and we're taking all these things. And it's funny enough because the activity that I had did with my university, my powerhouse university today, was that life wheel. And you look at that life wheel.
I just looked at all my notebook. That's crazy.
It was that life wheel, and I took a picture of it, and I'm wondering if I can pull it up on my phone and show you guys. But when we look at that life wheel, that really is, and I'm going to find the picture for you, I think how we decide where we put our energy. I took so many pictures today, but let's see if we can show everybody this. Let's see if it, okay, there you go. Right, so you take a look at this little life wheel, and it looks like some crazy little spoke, but if you focus in on there, there's, I don't know if you can really see it, all these different areas of life, and it starts with physical, financial, business, lifestyle, mental, spiritual, family, relationship. Yeah. Now, as I've worked with this life wheel, and my clients have worked with this life wheel, right, which Tony Robbins has his version, Darren Hardy has their version, you know, Guru, Satanam, Wati, Huduji, whatever their names are, they all have their own version. Yes. Yeah. And I am sure that Hera and Mel Grant have their own version. Yeah. We changed the spokes a little bit, but I think there's power in that life wheel to say, like, wow, you know what? On the spiritual side and the lifestyle side, I'm feeling like I need to be connected with my creator, and I really haven't taken a break in a hot second. Yeah. And I knew what I had coming up in the next couple of weeks. I know where my business is going, and the, I don't want to call it a sprint, but the focus that we're about to have for the next, honestly, like sometimes when I look at Q4, I'm just like, I need a break to be ready to go in Q4 at the end of the year, gearing up for the beginning of the year. We need that time to relax. And that was what our text had said. So I think it's funny how that's how it started. I was like, I didn't feel you. Yeah. Normally I feel that presence. Even though you're in Atlanta and I'm in New Jersey, I didn't feel you. And I texted you at 11:45. Yeah. And you were like, we work on the exact same vibration. It's not even wild anymore, but I'm feeling the same thing, and I need some me time. Yeah. And I do want to talk about that. I want to talk about the me time, the silent time, the quiet time, the God time, whatever that is, how a lot of us are feeling nowadays, especially with the notifications and the projects and the working a full-time job, plus trying to launch a business, plus trying to do all these things. We need to find that time. So I said my piece on the life wheel, and I'm going to share one story, and then Mel, I know you have tons of stuff to give on this subject, but it came up twice. Mm-hmm. Yesterday as well. I'm doing these activities to find my voice and find what's really deep down inside of me that's just itching to get out and to give people. And I remember saying, one of the reasons I started a business was because I felt like I had no time for my friends and my family. Yeah. And that falls there on that whole lifestyle part, on the family part, the relationships part, all of that. You don't have time for you. That's spiritual and lifestyle. And today, sure enough, one of my friends had said to me, it's crazy, I miss you, but I feel like I don't have any time for my friends and family. And I'm like, oh, that's a terrible disease. We have to fix it. Yeah. And I go into that fix it mode. But yesterday was a day to go into do nothing mode.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that came about. And I think you and I are very in tune to our needs, but not everybody is. How do we get them there? How do we have them carve out this me time to hit those points that they want on the wheel, or just to be silent enough to allow creativity and their creator to speak, or just something. How do we do that? What do you got? What do you got?
Well, I think one of the things that majorly helped me had something to do with the life wheel, but it also had something to do with me rating myself. So in all those categories, I said, all right, Mel, we're going to sit down and we're going to look at this from 0 to 10, and I'm going to seriously be transparent with myself and say, you know what, I feel like I'm a 2 in this area, or I feel like I'm a 9 in this area, or I am a 10, you know. And I had to write down those numbers, and again, just really be honest with myself. And so in certain areas, you know, whether it was, you know, spending time with family, building those relationships, rebuilding connections, you know, I had to, again, just be 100% transparent, and that allowed me to sit down and say, okay, so then now I know, looking at this life wheel, exactly where my priorities are, and then where my priorities and other things have lacked. And I had to kind of flip that wheel and say, okay, now it's time to start turning and changing things around and figuring out how do I build on the things that are only at those 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and get that into the 7, 8, 9, 10 area. And I think that when we have those moments, we've got to sit down and really just, again, be honest with ourselves to score ourselves and rate ourselves. And then from there, we've got to really, you know, and I hate, we've always said we hate this phrase time management, because I don't believe it's called time management. I think it's just a matter of, you know, what are you moving towards, you know, even if it's imperfect, what are you moving towards to make sure that you are finding balance? And, you know, we've talked about this word, we've said it, but it is such a huge and fundamental word. Actually, a buddy of mine texted me that this morning, you know, and it's so funny how you spoke with a friend about that, and a buddy of mine was texting me about balance. And I said, okay, you know, this is exactly what it's about. Finding a way to say, okay, each week or one part of the day, I'm going to commit to something, you know. So if it's just sending a quick text message to a family member, because in that family arena, maybe I scored myself a little lower. Or friendship arena, maybe I scored myself a little lower. Or maybe in finances, maybe I scored myself, you know, 4 or 5. Maybe I need to spend a little bit of time going over my statement, or what did I spend my money on, writing those things down. You know, we talked about this last week where, you know, one step of it is having that awareness. So that's what you're doing when you're rating yourself. The other part and the other actionable step is writing it down, you know, being able to see it. And so when you are reflecting on that, it forces you to open your eyes up and say, okay, I've got to do something about this, you know, because when you have that balance, again, you know, and we touched on it briefly, there's a lightness about you. You know, we felt heavy. We felt very, very, I don't want to say burdened, but we just felt very heavy this week with all the stuff going on, right? Like you've got, you know, you've got the world on your shoulders. You've got, you know, we both have so many different things going on with our businesses. And so I think that's why we felt the way that we did yesterday, to get to that point and notice that point and then say, okay, it's okay to have me time. It's okay to have that time where I let everyone know, hey, listen, I am disconnected for the day. And that's just that, you know. It's huge to be able to have that time to sit down and do whatever, you know, and that whatever could be that you're literally just sitting down doing nothing. It could be that you are out and about, maybe shopping, maybe taking yourself to a spa, which I schedule for me. Since I didn't get to do it on Sunday, I am definitely taking myself to get massages, because that allows me to be 100%. And that's the whole focus of this. How do we get to that ultimate being? You know, so we've got to make sure that we're filling ourselves up in all these categories so that we can now start rating and scoring ourselves. And it's okay to revisit it on a regular basis and say, hey, you know what? This area, you know, I really kind of lacked in. So now that I look at it this week, can I score myself a little bit higher? Or do I need to score myself a little bit lower? Again, just having that transparency and honesty and really kind of utilizing that life well in that way was something that just benefited the heck out of me. And I had to, again, it just allowed me to really just take things at face value and do something about it. Take actionable steps towards it. Yeah, as imperfect as it was, but taking actionable steps.
Yeah, and I always take notes on our stuff because I like to see also, and this is a very good tactic, which we've said, I think in our first call, writing things down and seeing where there are commonalities or patterns.
Right.
And I see that, giving ourselves permission and not having guilt over certain things. So first and foremost, when we talk about that life wheel, I know for some people that even may be overwhelming when they actually sit down, honestly, as Mel said, and rate themselves. And I had told my group today that when it goes, here's the center, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the closer you are into the center, a 10 is ideal, and 1 is not so ideal. So a lot of times, I mean, when I do the wheel, I'm usually like, okay, I don't go too hard on myself. Never at a 10 anywhere, because there is always room for growth and expansion. If I feel that I'm in an ideal state, then I want to imagine and dream up even one step further. And I think that's a beautiful thing, right, for the growth. But when we do look at this wheel and honestly assess where we're at, there's that self-talk again. That alone is something that you can do and carve out that time. And I have to agree with you where you say communicate it to the other people and say, I just need this time. For me yesterday, I needed an entire day, to where even I was upstairs more than half the day and Dennis was even downstairs. And I started my day off, digging into the Word, doing my little treasure hunt, as I call it, and see where God leads me. And after I was done, around 12, I had texted you, and I was like, dude, I don't feel you. So here's what's going down with me, because normally we connect here, but I'm just off the radar. Yeah. And I felt no guilt about that whatsoever. And it was just so beautiful. Again, I'm reminded of what you said last week about that armor that we put on ourselves and how it actually repels the connection and the things that we want. And if you can allow yourself that space and give yourself permission to communicate to the people around you, to even work, like even when I was a teacher, I used to take mental health days where I can't get in trouble for this now because I'm not there, but I had 2 personal days and 10 sick days. So in order for me to get a day off, I had to be sick. Now, I wasn't going to lie and put it out there that I'm sick, but I would make doctor's appointments in the middle of the day. So that way, I got to drive to the doctor's appointment. I got to wait. The doctor's late. I might as well just take off. It's a sick day. So I would go to the doctor's office, and the doctor's appointment would take a half an hour, but I would take a mental health day. So for me right now, I mean, that's the actionable item that I would like everybody to have, is to schedule a mental health day and do it however you want to do it. And yeah, I'll take the blame for it. I'll say I gave you the great idea. So when your boss is like, if you get in trouble, that is not my fault. That's your fault if you don't cover your butt and you don't know your boss or whatever it is, or your spouse. I mean, I clearly communicated with Dennis, babe, I need a day. Yeah. He's like, oh, okay, no, not a morning, a day. And if I tell you, Mel, from the second I woke up, I worked out, amazing, right? And just to know that there was no schedule for me, for my personality, no place to be, no time, no nothing. I swear I felt like I was on vacation yesterday. Yeah. Swear. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it with, because I have many other things to say aside from, how do I decide? How do I decide what to do? Well, for me, yesterday it was very clear that I needed a woo-saw moment. And I love that you say, take imperfect action. And I want us also to give ourselves permission to know that sometimes the idea of what action is, like, oh, I need a vacation. I just took a vacation yesterday and I didn't spend a dime. I didn't spend a dime, but I created a vacation in my home just by communicating my needs, being honest with myself, with what my needs were, and saying, okay, yeah, I would love to be back on that rooftop in Spain doing yoga. However, I got a day. I got a day, and I don't want to, I didn't feel like dropping $2,000. I didn't feel like dropping $2,000. That's another thing. Can I just plant a seed? with the I don't have time and I don't have the money. Bullshit.
Right.
Bullshit. You got 24 hours in a day and you have the money. You're just spending it on other things.
Absolutely.
So that's a statement right there that will get a lot of lash from people because, no, I really don't have the money. Okay, dude, continue arguing it. Continue speaking it into your existence that you don't have the time and you don't have the money. Why don't you look at the time that you do have and the money that you do have, and are you spending it the way you really want to or need to? And I'm going to leave my mouth at that because we've given them a takeaway, and that's a bold question right there because it will have a lot of resistance for a lot of people, right? I don't have the time, Hera, and I don't have the money, Hera. Okay, so then you don't.
Yeah.
I was the same way, and I said I did.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and I think that one of the questions that, you know, I know you posed something very interesting because it forces people to look at themselves, as we said, and do that reflection. But I think that's something that I've always asked myself as well, whether it was with money, with time, with whatever. How can I expect more abundance if I'm not doing right with what I have right now?
Yeah.
And I had to figure out, hey, listen, if I'm expecting to get more time, how am I handling the time that I got now? You know what I mean? If I'm expecting to get more abundance when it comes to my relationships with people, how am I handling those relationships now? And if making those excuses, because that's really what they are at the end of the day, making those excuses to take time out for yourself, if that is an excuse that you say, hey, listen, I don't have the time, I don't have the money to do it, you will not be able to move into abundance and to have those greater things where you are on vacation all the time. You know, I love this picture that I saw that said, you know, create a life that you don't need a vacation from. And I think that when you have these moments of pause and these moments of, you know what, hey, listen, I need a day, you're starting to create that life because instead of it becoming, you know, so bogged down and you're stressed out and this and that. I've been stressed. Stress is not fun, okay? I do not like, nor will I ever want to ever go down that road of being stressed again, ever, okay? And I'm going to stress that point. You do not want to continue to be in this life, right? You don't want to continue to be in that lifestyle where you're not making the time for these things. Look at your life, Will. Look at the things that you need to add more to. If financially, that's something that's lacking, as I mentioned, then that's where you've got to step it up. But it's okay. Make those small incremental steps. Everything is about just small steps and moving in that right direction. You know, Adam Markel's book, Pivot, you know, I haven't even had an opportunity to read it yet, but it's so huge how he marks down that, you know, here it is, you have a line. Your life is that line. When you just make a 5% shift, just a small shift, you know, and you go up like this, as you continue to make that shift, you would never know that that line started off there, you know, that it was the same thing. And so it's all about just those small changes and finding a way to say, how can I, if I'm labeling myself and I'm saying, hey, listen, I'm a 4 here, how can I move into a 5 area? Because that's creating the abundance that you want. That's going to build better relationships. That's going to give you more time. We run several businesses, and we still have time on our hands. So if it's just that you're working, and I'm not going to say just because, I mean, whether it's a job, whatever it is, whether you're working your business, whatever the case is, you know, it's important, of course, but there's always time. It's just a matter of you sitting down to make that decision and to execute, going back to that word, executing those steps that are necessary. And for us, part of our business and part of our growth and part of our creativity comes from saying, how do we move into abundance? We've got to be 100% and we've got to be whole in order to move into even bigger abundance, which was why yesterday taking that me time and taking a step away from everything and everyone allowed us to just say, woosah, you know, now here it is today. I kicked ass today. I'm sorry, I'm going to curse, but I had an amazing day today because I was refueled. You know what I mean? And so when you get that energy in you, it is huge the amount of things that you can do. Now I just shaped my entire week just by saying, you know what, I'm going to take some time to sell. Even if it's not a whole day. You know, to a friend of mine, and I said, listen, even if you could just spend an hour to yourself, take that freedom day, take that freedom hour, whatever the heck it is in your mind that you want to do, so that you can start moving into that abundance that you really want to create for yourself, to where, again, now you don't have to take a vacation from your life. Your life is the vacation.
Yeah, I was going to quote before, that was Seth Godin, that quote, I think, has created more entrepreneurs than I don't even know. I don't know who else would be building entrepreneurs than like the entire industry of network marketing itself. But that whole create a life that you do not need a vacation from. I mean, it's very clear to me that if you're conscious of the way you are spending, I like also that we said too, right? Your funds. And I had this conversation right before we got on here. So maybe that's why it's fresh in my mind as well. But how you're spending your finances, how you're spending your time, right? Those two things that you can spend. Your energy. Yeah. How much energy do you even give a certain situation? You really are in control of that. And I understand that it may seem like, wow, this is really easy for us to just say it. I think that is all the more reason, because we've been dabbling with all of this stuff for years. That is all the more reason for you to be encouraged to start now with those small steps. Because for me, I think it started as a yoga class that I had to take and I had to complete. It started as a book that, you know, there's a certain level of accountability as well. I think that helps. And again, that is one of the beautiful things about our organization, is that we have those success partners. We have those accountability partners.
Yeah.
You know, to hold you to, hey, I said I was going to do this. Mm-hmm. Did I? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Try again next week. So I would say let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at those takeaways. Which, what were they? What were they again? To schedule in me time. I think I'd said take a mental health day, right?
Present with yourself, you know, freedom day, whatever you want to call it. Just taking that time for you to sit down and also do that life wheel and look at that and see and where you score yourself and how you can build your relationships, your financial situation, your health, your spirituality, all those different areas that it covers. Really just sitting down and being honest and transparent. And it's okay, again, to score yourself where you feel you're at, because there's always room for growth, as you mentioned. You know, there's always something more and something bigger that you can do to just get that ultimate you know, relationship or effect from those areas of life.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so everybody's going to schedule a mental health day. They're going to upload their pictures.
Right.
And post it all on a Saturday or a Sunday.
I was going to say, yeah, make sure it's not while you're like supposed to be at work or any of that stuff, all right?
They can hashtag it fire starters. Mental health day. But no, do definitely pass it on. Encourage other people to take a mental health day. The economy is not going to fail because you don't show up to work. You're probably going to go back the next day refreshed and happy and feeling on point, which is what happened with us. And you are correct. Running multiple businesses, taking care of multiple people and projects and programs and all of these aspects of our life. And we make the time for the things that are important to us and where we want to go, right? I always say from point A to point Z, just because you go to point A to point Z, hello. But it's a moving forward momentum, and there's no such thing as perfect action. You know, I would say the same thing. You think you're having a baby and the baby comes out, you don't know what the baby's going to look like. So same thing, do your actions, whatever, when action comes out, you don't know what it's going to look like, but it's growth.
Yeah.
It's growth. It's forward momentum. So everybody's scheduling a mental health day. Can't wait to hear what happens in that day and how you return to work.
Yeah, and I want to hear about it. I would love for you guys to share with us what it was that you did, you know, that you just felt so inspired to do, you know, whether, again, if it was just laying around on the couch, if it was scheduling massage like I am, whatever it is, you know, let us know what it is that you do and how you felt afterwards, you know, the refreshing feeling, because I can guarantee you every single one of you is going to have that feeling afterwards.
Yeah, I love it. All right, partner. Well, high five.
Good stuff.
Okay, so Monday was great. This was like an amazing Monday. I'm ready to go. I'm going to go chill. I actually have a little bit of research. I'm a nerd, so part of what I like to do actually that relaxes me is research. I kid you not.
Awesome. Awesome. You're a weirdo. Yeah.
No.
That's the one thing.
I don't feel bad about that. I don't feel bad about that.
That is
yeah.
Cool.
You know what? I'm glad that just came up because there might be some of you out there that are like, well, I really just want to read a whole bunch of books. Okay, like research. I don't know. It does something to my brain. I like to research things.
Good stuff. I like that.
I'm addicted.
I like to research vacations. I mean, if that counts.
I heard you and Candace are going to be planning a little something, huh?
Oh yeah, because I feel that it's huge when you really kind of set a goal and you put out and you say, okay, this is some place that I want to travel to, and you look up the flights and you look up the places to stay and the places to eat. That just gets me going and gets me excited. So it just kind of puts more momentum into every single thing that we're both doing individually and together, so we can get there. We're already like, all right, we're going to leave here and go there.
She was telling me today, and I said, it's funny because you weren't, before we went to Summit and when we were in Nashville, I don't know if, yes, I did show you a few Airbnbs, but I was very particular about where we stay. So I think I had shared that with you once, and you're like, that's hilarious because everybody knows that I'm the go-to guy for this and that. I was like, well, I can take care of housing. Like, I'm good when it comes to housing.
I got this.
I feel like I picked the best houses.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
I love our condos.
We might have to do a little challenge on who could find the most amazing place. That'd be cool. You're Mr.
Opulence. You're Mr. Opulence, so I feel like you would win, but I'm always up for a challenge, first and foremost. And secondly, I feel like we'll talk about this definitely afterwards, but I was thinking timeshare. Maybe I feel like Florida, I mean, it's not exotic or luxurious, but it's easy for everybody to get to, so we can plan too. But my timeshare always has really good access to just condos, and lots of us can kind of get there and be together and do, I don't know, fun stuff like we did, like our little powwow sessions.
Definitely. That was great. I mean, we were there from like 11 to 5 or 6. Oh my gosh.
That was
absolutely had to leave. Just because we had to travel back. I mean, no one wanted to leave.
No, everybody did want to stay there. That was true. You did stay until the very last minute. That was our powwow session. That was amazing. That was a good example of us doing that relaxed time and that reflective time. That was good. So yeah, that's some of the crazy ish that goes down when the powerhouses get together. What? All right, well, I have a highlighter. I'm going to go finish notes, and then I'm going to do a little research on a little project that I want to get into. So, peace out, yo.
Okay, cool. Good stuff.
Fire.
Awesome. Love you guys. Bye, everybody.
Love you. All right, love you, Mal. See you.
What you guys are doing. All right.
Yeah, I want to hear it. All right, see you next week.
All right, see ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.